So Dana White stated that Jon Jones will be fighting this summer. He was asked about it, I think, by Stephen A. Smith, of all people. But overall, Dana was confronted and needed to provide an answer. Is that true? Is Dana actually setting up a fight with Jon Jones in the summer? I doubt it. Is it going to be against Tom? I doubt it. Dana has made promises before. Yes, Dana has cashed on most of his promises, but this one I think will be one that he will not be able to cash in on. I think this promise, this type of promise, is going to be similar to promises he's made about Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. So, Jon Jones is just an anomaly right now in terms of readiness for another fight. Of course, he feels really. I want to say, I want to have an appropriate term for this. Of course, he feels really disrespected about the recent hate he's come across, especially with the whole ducking trend that all MMA fans have kind of hopped onto, where they just kind of bomb Jon Jones's Instagram, Twitter, all his media feeds with duck emojis, just to show that he's ducking Tom Aspinall. I get it; it was funny for a while, but we just got to be serious about this. Jon Jones is holding up the entire UFC heavyweight division. It's time that he's either stripped of his belt or he is immediately pressured to sign something. If Jon Jones does not sign, I would even say, by the end of this month, by the end of the month of March, he's got to get stripped. I would say he should have been stripped, but if I was approaching it right now, if I was approaching the issue right now as a UFC official, I'd give him till the end of March. You got to figure out what you're doing. I know he's been asking for a big, fight night payout. I think it's like $60 million he's asking for, and I think they're only willing to give him like 20 or 30 million. I'd say give him an offer, whatever offer it is. Could be even 10 million. I don't give a fuck. Give him an offer. Whether he takes it or not is his problem. You either take the money or you get stripped. Jon Jones, I think, is the MMA GOAT, the UFC GOAT. I still stand with that claim, with that with that claim. I'm comfortable with claiming that he is the UFC and MMA GOAT. That being said, he's old. He's up there in age now. Not extremely up there in age, but he's up there in age. And I would argue he's not needed. Jon Jones is not needed to keep the UFC afloat for future fights. He's had his time. He's made his money. He's set up a legacy that will be untouchable for quite a while. He's not really needed going forward in terms of being in fights, in actual fights. Tom Aspinall is here to take the torch. The torch is already pretty much halfway in hand in terms of, the top heavyweight. And the torch is already in Alex Poatan Pereira's hand in terms of the face of the UFC. So Jon Jones is pretty much neither right now. He's neither the top heavyweight, at least in the fans' eyes, and he's neither the face of the UFC. He is still the MMA and UFC GOAT. I would still refer to him as the Jordan of the UFC and the Jordan of MMA. But his time came and went. Now he's just holding things up. So it's either he makes a move, he takes the fight with Tom to fight the up-and-coming young gunner to further solidify his legacy, already further than it already has been solidified, or he gets stripped. The belt gets taken away from him, and it's not like his whole legacy will be taken away from him either. The belt will just be on somebody else's shoulders. He still showed up in the UFC. He still had amazing blockbuster fights in the UFC. He still has a lot of belts in the UFC, a lot of title defenses, a lot of memories made. And like I said, above all of that, he is the greatest UFC fighter of all time, at least in my eyes. He's done what he needed to do, and now he can move on and retire. He can do what Tony Ferguson refuses to do time after time. and you will likely be respected for it. Yes, he'll be hated for a while just because of the whole ducking thing and because of what other people have rumored or said about him or accused him of, or what this and that and whatever. That'll all blow over in a couple of months. Some people may not believe so, but it will. And John Jones will be solidified as the standard, as the goal that everybody should be reaching for. And sure, sometime along after a long time, somebody will be able to reach his legacy. But again, that won't be for a long time. Overall, do I believe that John Jones is going to be fighting Tom or anybody this summer? He won't fight Tom. If John Jones is to fight anybody in the summer of 2025, it will be Alex Poatan Pereira after getting his belt stripped. I think John will likely get his belt stripped. Pereira will move up to heavyweight after either beating or losing to Magomed Ankalaev, and he'll fight John. And that'll be a blockbuster fight, probably one of the best-selling fights ever in UFC history and probably fight game history, just because of how big the names John Jones and Alex Pereira are. So it all remains to be seen. Like I said, John is he's just sitting on top of the entire heavyweight division, forcing it all to be in a stalemate. Poor Tom Aspinall has half of a championship belt on his shoulders, and he's clawing for the second half of that belt. And he's successfully fought for the second half of that belt time after time now. He deserves the second half of that belt. He deserves a unified heavyweight championship belt. And John Jones is pretty much in the pettiest fashion of all time sitting on that belt. So it's about time he gets off that belt and gives it to Tom, who is more deserving, or he fights Tom about it, which I would really much respect John for. And I'm sure a lot of people would, because a lot of people are calling for John to fight Tom. That's even what Tom wants. But again, it's just a disrespect. It's probably also the fact that John pretty much knows that Tom has a much better chance of winning than he does. So there's a lot to consider. There's a lot of variables to calculate. And yeah, sure, Tom Aspinall has a much better chance of beating John than John does of beating Tom. So take that information as you will. Again, Dana promises that John is going to fight in the summer. I don't think he will. If that fight is against Tom Aspinall, if the fight is against Alex, he might. It depends on what Alex is doing at the time. But if Dana is sitting here telling us all that John is going to fight Tom in the summer, I highly doubt it. And it's just because of the manner at which John is just sitting on this belt, sitting on this division, demanding things. Yes, he's the GOAT, but this is not GOAT shit. How he's handling this whole situation is not GOAT shit. It's not how a GOAT handles a situation like this. But overall, let me know what you think. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and turn them damn notifications on. YouTube is fucking with my viewership, so make sure you turn them notifications on so you know when my next video is out. And yeah, I love each and every one of you guys. I will be live for UFC 313 tomorrow for the entire card. Starting at like 6 or 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. I didn't look at the time. I didn't look at the time frame of it. I'm sure it's like the full cards tend to be like 7-hour streams or 7-hour cards. So yes, I will be streaming for 7 hours tomorrow. Make sure you stay tuned. Come say hi. Come join me. Come hang. I'm gonna be fucking giving you guys the punch by punch analysis of this fight live. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I love you guys. I'll see y'all in the next.